Hey there, all my Looney Tunes. I'm Lee from Siege Artistic Studios.
And I'm Cassidy Calico from Everest.
And we welcome you folks to another episode of StudiosPodcast.
What's on the agenda for today, Lee?
I'm glad you asked, my intelligent furry friend. For today's discussion on StudiosPodcast, we're going to be talking about how mental illnesses and disorders affect a person's daily life, mostly ADHD. We're going to be using research off of articles and whatnot, and my own personal experiences.
First off, Lee, according to medical research, ADHD is on the spectrum of mental illnesses and disorders. How does the condition affect your everyday life? And, are you medicated for it?
ADHD is difficult to deal with. For those who aren't familiar with the topic, attention defect hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD for short, is a medical condition that affects one's behavior and attention span. I've had ADHD my whole life. Yes, I am medicated for it now, but it wasn't easy to stay under control in elementary or middle school. Even today, there are moments where I fidget quite a lot and have a random amount of energy.
How does it affect your work process? Being either school or personal work, or both?
At school, it is mild to handle. There are a lot of times when a lesson is being taught or my class is filling out notes together, my mind will go blank for a few seconds. When it comes to summative assignments or projects or tests, it's a little hard to stay focused. For personal projects, everything's a bit unorganized, but I don't let my ADHD keep me from doing what I love.
The symptoms of ADHD are difficulty focusing, inattentiveness, difficulty with instructions, unorganized schedule, forgetful mind, and easy to distract. For hyperactive symptoms, a person with ADHD can be seen doing the following: fidgeting, inability to stay in seat, always occupying themselves, very chatty, struggles to wait, and interrupting someone. The most commonly noticeable action is fidgeting. One of the mood descriptions of ADHD is anxiety. There are many others too, such as frustration, boredom, and excitement. Others tend to have a good hold and self-control with these emotions. What is it like for you, Lee?
Well, emotions are difficult to understand in general. When I'm frustrated, I tend to be upset over something little.
Like what?
Let's say, my grades. If I check my grades and I see lower than a D-, I get really frustrated with myself. Sometimes the anger's a little too much to handle and I have outbursts. During those outbursts, I tend to accidentally lash out at people. Or, maybe destroy my room. For boredom, that one is self-explanatory. Excitement, I'm cheery, bubbly, and I'm really, really chatty. Volume is a little challenging to control when I'm excited. As for anxiety, that one is,
Kinda, feeling?
Yeah, it is really difficult to cope with it, because I overthink and my mind isn't my friend during those times. Anxiety makes it 10 times harder to focus on things, and then I procrastinate. Assignments pile up and the motivation to do any of it decreases, causing my grades to drop.
Anxiety is not a fun time. For those who have ADHD and anxiety will have outbursts, but these can be avoided with care and therapy. Lee isn't the only one out there who has ADHD. There are many celebrities with it too, such as Jim Carrey and Will Smith.
I was shocked to find out that Jim Carrey has ADHD.
Oh, I know. You found out the day you saw the Sonic 2 movie.
That movie was the best. First time I ever feared Jim Carrey.
You started screaming as soon as you walked out of the movie theater.
Well, I didn't know how to express my emotions at the time. The only thing I knew what to do was to rush outside and scream.
Lee, you're getting sidetracked again. Back on topic. Why are we talking about this? Sure, there are many other mental illnesses and disorders we could talk about, like bipolar disorder and depression. But why specifically ADHD?
That is an excellent question. The reason we are talking about this is because people understand the condition. A lot of kids with ADHD struggle every day because their behavior and difficulty with education. Even as an adult, it's hard. Not many have the guts to talk about this. Plus, I'm learning more about myself as this episode goes on.
ADHD is a very common condition. Based on medical records, over 3 million cases are recorded per year. These cases being in the US, of course.
Growing up as a little kid with ADHD was difficult. Really difficult. Including with parents too. It's unexpected to find out your child has a condition you know nothing about, and you don't know how to help them with their behavior.
There are some positive ways to be able to communicate with your child and teach them good behavior. Making clear and organized schedules. Something writing out a list of things to do during the day and or at night, with timestamps to help with productivity of tasks. When something is unorganized, the child may become stressed and frustrated at the tasks. Sometimes a helping hand will calm the storm.
Keep task instructions as simple as possible. This is something I struggle with all the time, and reactions from it are mixed. It isn't easy to do something like Cass. Let's say you need my help with a lab experiment. You needed me to do something like...
Beta tested me for my new security system on my pack.
What the hell? See, I don't have any clue what you want me to do. What would I be doing?
Simple. You would A, stand there and take the hits. B, try to defend yourself. Or C, run and hide.
But how would I know to do anything like that? Especially if the task could be dangerous. I would need to know if I need to defend myself from harm.
That is a good point.
Another way I can understand instructions or how to do something is if it is demonstrated, like a math problem. If I was in class, my teacher would show us how to solve an equation. With that, I'm able to understand the instructions and what to do to solve similar equations.
Modeling calm behavior. This teaches the child on how to show calm behavior in certain situations and or places. Focusing on effort and rewarding good behavior is also another one. For younger children with ADHD in elementary school, it is challenging to understand lessons being taught to them. Despite the material being challenging, they still try their best on the work given, just like their classmates. Sometimes the results are not going to be 100% or an A+, but acknowledging that the child tried their best helps to positively motivate them to improve and continue to do their best.
Honestly, people with autism or ADHD are often seen as unintelligent or weird people. Truth is, we're just like you. We're human too. Humans that are misunderstood. And I think it is important to have this topic out in the open for others to know and learn more about. I believe that there is nothing wrong with people who have these conditions. We are all unique in our own ways.
Never judge someone based on how they act. Try to get to know them. You might have something in common with them after all.
And with that being said, we're out of time for today. I'm Lee.
And I'm Cass.
And this brings us to the end of our podcast. And good night.